I'm really sorry I couldn't be there. I had hoped to join, but we're
In the final
making
days.
real progress on the state budget, which has a deadline that is looming. So I want to continue making the progress that we started. So I couldn't break away today, but this is really important that we take this opportunity to celebrate what is going to be a
Phenomenal event.
And the epicenter of this, and I agree with the Buffalo Bills, we all love New York. The epicenter that the world will be watching will be in the great state of New York. We have been preparing for this for many, many, many months and getting people excited. This is going to be great for our tourism. It's going to bring in thousands, if not millions of people to localities all the way along the trajectory of this. It's going to be Jamestown and Buffalo and Niagara Falls and Plattsburgh and everything in between. So
now, but the amazing thing is people don't know the solar eclipse is happening on the very same day as the original plagues of the 3 days of darkness began.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
It's on the very same day.
This one we're going to have.
April 8th is the very day of the 3 days of darkness plagues began in the original Exodus. Yes.
Unbelievable. Is this a warning then? Is God's? It's going. We got the Nineveh and the Jonah towns going through, but I mean, what kind of warning is this?
Great question. Here's the thing. In Genesis 1:14, God declared the sun and the moon were for signs.
Right.
The only signs they can give is eclipses. All right. And the nice thing about eclipses, no false prophet can manipulate it.
No.
Okay. And they speak to every language, tribe, nation, and tongue.
Yep.
They don't need to be translated.
Nope.
Solar eclipse means judgment is coming upon a nation. Lunar eclipse refers to judgment coming upon Israel.
Okay.
Now, get a load of this. There has only been, since we become a nation in 1776, there has only been 8 total solar eclipses that have completely crossed the United States. I'm not talking about one that just clips California or Florida. I'm talking that traverses the whole United States horizontally or vertically. There's only been 8 since we became a nation.
Wow.
And guess when they occurred? 2 of them occurred during the Revolutionary War. 3 of them occurred during the Civil War. 2 of them occurred during the Vietnam War. Are we getting a hint of what this means?
Oh, no.
And so now in the 2000s, there was 2017, and now this one in 2024, and it's like a bullseye. It forms an X right over the United States. Now, here's what's amazing. Of those 8, only one, which was the one 7 years ago, it only crossed the United States and no other country. The other ones crossed Mexico and Canada and US or something like that. But the United States was singled out with
Just
the one
one.
7 years ago.
Yes.
Once.
Wow.
And now we have April 8th on Nisan 1. That Nisan 1 is the same day the glory of God fell. It's the same day of the inauguration ceremony of Moses' tabernacle. Okay, this is when this eclipse crosses these 2 places in the United States. And it's definitely God wants to communicate with us. People have to understand God wants to communicate. These eclipses are communications directly from God warning us of what's coming.
I mean, this is without a question a biblical sign. I was telling people earlier that, you got the solar eclipses. That's God made. When you have a lunar eclipse or a blood moon that you were so famous in bringing forward, that's a God sign. There's 2 different types of locusts coming, we know that. There's all of these signs that are coming right now are all God signs. They're not man-made, not man-manipulated. It isn't Y2K.
Right.
Okay, it's not the Mayan calendar.
Right.
It's not Harold Camping predicting the rapture,
Right.
all of which man made and failed. These are God's signs. You can't run from these. These are biblical, right?
That's the whole point. See, the problem is the church is on the wrong calendar because our regular calendar is based only on the sun.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
And Iran uses the same calendar we do. Okay. Then you have the Muslim calendar, which is only based on the moon. Now they're both scientifically accurate, but they're not the one God uses. Like if I'm meeting with you We have a 2 or 3 hour time difference.
Right.
If we're going to meet, we got to agree on what time.
Right.
God is the master of time. And if you're a slave, who controls your time? The master.
The master
He tells you when to go to bed, when to get up, when to do this. God, the first commandment, most people don't realize, the very first commandment wasn't given on Mount Sinai. The very first commandment was given in Egypt, and it was get on my calendar. Nisan 1 is the first day. He wants his people on his calendar. Well, in Genesis 1:14, it says, let them determine the times. Not let the sun, not let the moon. But the reason why, you can only have a solar eclipse on a new moon. You can only have a lunar eclipse on a full moon.
That's true.
So that's why he says, okay, your months are based on the new moon. This is why I can communicate with you.
Yep.
Okay, Passover and Sukkot are on a full moon, so I can communicate with you.
Because it's the appointed times. Appointed time.
Exactly. It's
Did you know that April 8th is in the Bible? In the beginning of 7, it's giving you Ezra's lineage, and he was a scribe, and God's hand was on him. In fact, it says that God gave Israel Ezra. Oh, and he was from Babylon, which I find very interesting because I feel like the U.S. is Mystery Babylon. Okay, so we're going to go to 8. Ezra arrived in Jerusalem in August of that year. 9. He had arranged to leave Babylon on April 8th, the first day of the new year. And he arrived at Jerusalem on August 4th, for the gracious hand of his God was on him. This was because Ezra had determined to study and obey the law of the Lord, and to teach those decrees and regulations to the people of Israel. Okay. April 8th, the first day of the new year. Little star guy, right? Okay, so go down here. 7-9. Hebrew on the first day of the first month of the ancient Hebrew linear calendar. This day was April 8th, 458 AC. Not BC. My bad. Highlighter's in the way. Now, you could just say, hey, you know what? This is just a story, part of the Bible. And that could be it. That could be all that's it. But what I'm telling you is that I've been praying about April 8th. And then, boom, this thing just opens up. And I had already read it. And I had put, oh, wow, that's interesting. Okay, well, we've also been lied to about the calendar and stuff. But that's like a whole nother thing. But I'm just saying, like, it's in the Bible. Isn't that interesting? April 8th is actually in the Bible.
What? The National Guard will be deployed for total solar eclipse on April 8th. Why? Why does the National Guard need to be deployed for a solar eclipse? What's so concerning? I mean, all right, you had me a little with the keeping the kids away from school. I was like, why would you do that? It's only a solar eclipse, but whatever, okay. And now the National Guard needs to be deployed. And, you know, on top of that, what's the deal with stocking up on food and making sure your batteries are all charged? Like, what do they think is going to happen during this solar eclipse? I mean, I thought it was just the moon goes in front of the sun, it gets a little dark, and everything is fine. I don't understand why we need the National Guard, why we need to shut down schools, why we need to stock on supplies, and why do we need our batteries fully charged for an eclipse? What the hell's going on?
This is the kind of thing that they train for, and they are ready to go.
That said, this is something that I think folks can plan for.
And planning is something that will be
very important.
Oregon's Office of Emergency Management is leading the state's coordination efforts. They estimate 1 million people could gather to watch the eclipse. Think of it like a day with football games in both Corvallis and Eugene, or maybe the Civil War.
That's obviously going to be magnified on a much bigger scale, but there's going to be people stuck in traffic. There's going to be a lot of use of cell phone networks, so we want to make sure that folks have paper maps if they're going into areas they're not familiar with, because you might not be able to rely on getting a cell signal and being able to navigate that way.
To help with the influx of people, Governor Kate Brown authorized the Oregon National Guard to deploy soldiers to help.
Anything from medical support to aviation support and fire support. Those are all missions that we're anticipating we may assist with, and we're more than happy to assist with these. You know, we're members of the community, and we're happy to help the citizens of Oregon.
It's the kind of stuff the National Guard is prepared to handle.
In the military, we train and prepare ourselves for these types of situations where we do get to respond and put our training to use. And when we get to do this real world, it absolutely is a thrill for us. We love supporting and being able to be here in Oregon and help out.
There is also concern about fire danger. As it turns out, this is going to be the height of the wildfire season. It has been very dry throughout the summer.
Censored, here's the weird stuff I love. Imagine your vision is totally normal, and then one day you see demonic features everywhere on people only, just like this, what you see behind me. Now that's a reality for a man named Victor Shera. He has extremely rare yet terrifying disorder called PMO, and it's commonly known as, or now known because people didn't know about it at first. It's called the demon face syndrome. People with the condition see parts of other people's faces distorted in shape, texture, position, or color. For Shera, that means grotesque, grimace, elongated eyes, and deeply etched scars, also pointed ears.
This is not a regular face. They're trying to tell you that demons are walking with us, and this is their way of trying to tell us in secrets. They're trying to make this normal, so when we walk down the street and see one of these faces, we say, hey, it's just another person. No, these are demons. Remember, 2024 is going to unlock everything that was hidden. So all the time that we thought demons wasn't real, we're about to see it. When we thought aliens wasn't real, we're about to see it. There was a time where we needed our third eye to see these demons and spirits. Not no more, because the solar eclipse is all connected to events like this. People don't want to believe we are in the end times. They never did their spiritual work. They never did their shadow work. They just went about their life like, hey, shit is just regular. All these events is connected to the solar eclipse, but people still say the solar eclipse is just another day. They are releasing demons from under the ground. These demons once lived under the planet, but now they're being pushed up to the surface. So we're about to be walking around eating with them, watching games with them, doing everything with them. Shit, don't be surprised if they start making TikTok videos. The movie They Lived came out in 1988. It tried to expose what was really happening behind the scenes. But people say, give me my popcorn, give me my hot dog. I just want to watch the movie. You missed what they was trying to tell you. But now nothing is hidden no more, because everything that was hidden in the dark is coming to the light. The solar eclipse, dark and the light, and these demons are about to be seen with all of us. You can call them demons, jinns, fallen angels, interdimensional beings, whatever name you want to give them. Just remember, they don't like us. The human race is being slowly replaced with artificial intelligence and demons. We are being replaced at a fast pace, but people still don't want to see it yet. If you put your cell phones down and look up, you will see all kinds of strange events happening above our heads. People are seeing 3 full moons. 3 full moons? Things like this is not normal. These are not humans. They are really demons. You have to do your spiritual work, your shadow work. You gotta ground. You have to do all this kind of extra work, because the world we are going into in 2024, we're gonna need all the protection. For more info, Shadows of the Matrix Part 2. The link is in my bio.